Hippie and the Mutt. I'm the Mutt.
And I'm the Hippie.
And today we are with our friends, the Sanctify Fitness Bros.
Yeah.
So if you guys could go ahead and introduce yourselves.
This,
My name is Guillermo.
I'm Ruben, and we are the Sanctify FitPros.
Cool, and can you guys tell us a little bit about your guys' gym, like how it started, and your, I guess your initial start, and like how you guys started into fitness?
Okay. Let's go right into it.
Yeah,
Huh?
let's get right into it.
So I guess the way we started was we started off at big box gyms. I know Guillermo was with LA Fitness when we first started, and I was with Valley Total Fitness. And then like from there, we just we kind of grew out of it at some point. You know, being in big box gyms is very it's very stressful because they care about numbers, they care about money, they care about like everything that really doesn't help people. You know what I mean? So at some point we felt like we want to experiment and do things outside of that. And Coach G was actually working with somebody else, right? With Eric at Camp Excel.
Yeah, I was working at another small little boot camp, and it's crazy because like I feel very blessed to have worked in big box gyms like that because it's kind of like a jungle, like as far as sales for training, and that's something that I feel like it prepared me very well to be able to like manage and run a business, because it's like you gotta go get your own clients, and the thing is they're like car salesmen, they're ruthless, and they push you to get those sales, to get those numbers.
Right.
Yeah. So like for example, in the beginning, like I really didn't like talking to people so much. It was like,
oh, you mean like me?
Yeah, I was exactly, dude. Like last time when
he looked at you and he was running.
I was listening to that podcast last time, and I resonated with that because like the truth is like I was raised like in a way where it wasn't so healthy, where we were like my parents let me play video games all the time and just eat a lot of junk food. So I wasn't the most social kid growing up, and so like when they threw me into this environment, it was really uncomfortable, So I guess what I did to get out of that was I just started talking to everybody and anybody who was at the gym, and like he said, being in that environment, being with people who were so hungry, right? It rubbed off on me, and it allowed me to really push that out when we started doing our own thing, But once we started working with this guy who was doing his own thing, because like the truth is Guillermo was actually his boss when they used to work at LA Fitness.
Right? Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, so the dude started his own thing. He hired Guillermo, and like 3 years into it, Guillermo brought me in because I guess like they had like something going on with somebody else. So they themselves were like a group. They split up. They took Guillermo with them, and Guillermo brought me in. And then being there, I guess like it made it seem like, all right, this dude was just some normal guy who, he was hungry, he was very motivated, and he worked really, really hard. And just doing that is enough, because the truth is like we worked with a lot of trainers in the past. We've seen people who are really, really good salespeople. We've seen people who are really, really good trainers, So I think we've seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that there was any specific thing about this guy that would stand out to me and make me be like, okay, that's why he's successful. It was more like this guy works hard and he has the tools and he knows where to look for those tools. So once we learned that, it was just like, okay, like we could do our own thing,
Yeah, and then just seeing him like open up his own gym made it like a possibility for us to be like, hey, you know what, this guy can do it, and coming from the same place we came from, why not? Let's do it,
Yeah, and like my intentions was never to just do my own thing, right? I think I want to say at some point I wanted to grow more, like because it was a small company that we were working for, I wanted to move up. Right, but I felt like what he wanted was just more like trainers who were gonna train, and that's it. I've always loved like the people part of it. Like meeting new people, listening to their stories, right, and knowing like what kind of obstacles they're gonna overcome. To me, that's the best part of helping people get fit. So like not being able to touch on that side really, and just being limited to just the exercise part made me kind of like start to look somewhere else, you know. And one day, like, this dude that I used to work with in the past, he's like, you know, I'm working at this gym, and I'm paying rent. You should come over here for a little bit, you know. In the mornings, I have a couple clients that I can't be taking care of right now, so I'll pass you on to them so you can get started, you know. And so I asked my boss at the time if I could do both, right? And so I asked him on Tuesday, and by Thursday I had my last paycheck. So like, to me it was just like, oh shit, you know, like this would just kind of just snatch the rug from under me, you know.
Yeah.
And like, to me, when I've been put in those positions, that's where I feel like, all right, I gotta fight my way out of this shit.
Yeah.
You know, like when someone puts me like in a position where I feel like I'm cornered, and like there's no other way but to hustle through it. I feel like that's where I really shine, you know. Because the truth is, like, when I get comfortable, like I imagine so many other people, I tend to kind of drift a little bit and just, you know, not pay attention to that.
But you start to meander a bit, and then you become maybe a little bit more complacent about maybe the way that you approach your work. Or
Exactly, you know.
I've been there.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure it happens to the best.
Everybody
of us,
goes through their journey and everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's the beauty of being put in pressure. Under pressure, you know, like you have no option but to perform. Because the same thing happened to me. You just kind of like let me go from one day to another. And I remember when I left there, I only had I had to pay rent within like 2 weeks, and my rent was like $700. I only had like $30 in my pocket, you know. And I wasn't gonna get my last paycheck until a long time. And that's when that old school mentality of working at that big box gym kicked in. Because I was like, all right, now I gotta hustle, now I gotta do it. And it's crazy because those 2 weeks, I made more there than I did in like 3 months working for this guy. You know, and that was because the same thing. Like, I was blessed to work in that field. And I remember when I was working at that big box gym, I was I was just like my brother. I was super nervous. I was not the kind of person to talk to people. And I was going days without getting a cell. And so my manager, she goes up to me and she's like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? What's happening? You know, she goes like, look, I'm going to show you right now how easy it is to get a cell. She grabs me and she goes up to somebody just walking the treadmill, just casually walking. And she goes like, hey, you want to work out? I was like, no, I'm okay right now. I said, no, we're going to work out. She hits a stop button and she goes like, let's go. I'm like, oh, damn, just like that. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I was like, okay, so you just got to be a little bold and just approach.
Yeah.
You know? How was your first experience? Did you hit the stop as well?
I didn't have that kind of boldness, bro.
I actually hit the incline. She fell, but she's okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. So like we started doing just one-on-ones at this gym called Fit Nation, where we would.
If you don't mind me cutting it, but how did martial arts fit into that? Like,
Okay.
How did that happen?
It's crazy, dude, because like you kind of feel like someone just dropped it on us, right?
Yeah.
Because like we were fans of it when, like, I want to say when Chuck Liddell was gonna fight Rampage. I don't know if you guys remember those times.
Yeah.
And so I remember Guillermo even cut his hair like Chuck Liddell.
I did, bro. I did. When Chuck Liddell would fight, I would cut my hair like Chuck Liddell. I have no pictures, bro. Thank God I have no pictures.
All right, we can cut it tomorrow.
and so like we were fans of him from back then. We had this really cool homie, Elliot, who we would actually like read these jiu-jitsu books from like BJ Penn, and then we would practice that shit in the backyard. There's like a big ass crack in the middle. So
we used to wrestle in concrete,
It's,
bro. In concrete with a huge crack down the middle. I can't remember how many times my toe got caught in that crack, bro. Well,
and so you know, like when I played football in high school, so like it wasn't such a huge part of like my teenage years, but like when I was in high school, people used to call me Kimbo because they knew that I was a big fan of it, and that was like the only person that people knew of.
Yeah,
you get me? And so after high school, I started doing more Muay Thai at this gym called The Yard in downtown LA, and so like by the time I became a trainer, I was already like pretty like familiar with strikes and stuff like that, so I would use that as part of my thing, because like the guy who hired me was like, you find something that's gonna make you stand out, you know. And at the time, like kickboxing, like MMA and stuff, it wasn't that popular, you know. Like it was barely coming up, but when people saw it, I knew that people were like, oh shit, what is that, you know? Actually, it's cool. So I would do a lot of the kickboxing stuff, and when I first started working for Bally's, like I want to say 3 months into being hired, one of our friends was gonna have an MMA fight, a smoker they call it, right? When it's not regulated,
Right,
and they
right,
just
right.
kind of get people together and shit like that. And it looked legit. Don't get me wrong. Like the guy had camera guys, he had like ring girls, and he called up all these fighters. He had a backstage for them and stuff like that. And I guess one of the fighters didn't show up, right? He was also gonna fight that day, right? And one of the fighters wasn't gonna show up, so they just asked me, like, you want to do it too? And I was like, fuck it,
But we both literally got called like last minute. I got called like 3 days before.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Oh,
want to
yeah?
do it? Well, yeah.
And so like me, they told me like right there in the spot, and so I went in like I was so hyped that I went in there and I felt like I just flew in there, like punched the guy a couple times, the guy tapped, and then that was it, like it's crazy because he just was so like, fast, and then like so after that I kept doing it, right? But like it wasn't like for example, I always tell myself like I wish that I would have met you guys like back then, because like I feel like with what we have now, I feel everything is so organized, everything is
Yeah.
like so like feels so legit versus back then. Like we had a homie who his dad was a black belt in judo, and then our coach was a taekwondo guy. We met Cicada there, right?
Yeah.
His brother had already had a couple MMA fights, and so he knew some wrestling, and then we were doing Muay Thai at the yard. So like it was like, okay, there's a little bit of everything here,
Right.
but there isn't no solid foundation. So like going
Right,
into my fights, when I would see guys who would come in with like teams who had guys that were also gonna fight and they look legit, I was like kind of intimidated by that. So I signed up to that camo thing, right? And I had a fight, and the fight went like 3 rounds. I actually had to cut weight for that one, and it was just like it was crazy, dude. Like I didn't like. I remember
We don't know how to cut weight, bro.
know?
We don't know
Yeah.
how to do any of that. We found out. Damn, we gotta cut weight.
Yeah, so that fight ended up going like the whole 3 rounds, and I won it by like decision. And then I did like 3 other ones, and I lost those always by like arm bars, triangles, and shit like that, And so like it was always part of my thing. Like so when I would present to my clients, people who were looking into buying like personal training, I would talk about that, and I would talk about how like me being in situations where I have to fight and face those fears would make me more credible to help them face these kind of fears that they're gonna go on to, because a lot of times people who want to lose weight or get healthier, there's this fear that, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do it because I have so much going on in my life right now,
Yeah.
And so I tell them, if I could take a punch and knowing that shit's gonna hurt and come back again tomorrow, like for damn sure you could come back tomorrow with a little bit of soreness in your legs.
Yeah. So now, how is the experience now?
Well, now it's crazy because like a lot of people hit us up to learn how to box.
Right.
It's crazy because I always tell people like when people want to be boxers, they go to boxing gyms. You know what I mean? They go and they know the guy's gonna pad them up and he's gonna have the right connections to take them to, But when people want to learn how to box, for some reason, I notice that they hit up like gyms that have trainers that know how to box, right? Because I feel like it's almost like there's less of like for example, let's say this lady wants to lose weight and she goes to the boxing gym. She's all these killers. She's like, oh shit, that's what they're gonna
That's
make me do.
intimidating.
You get me?
Yeah.
Like, damn,
Yeah, I'm gonna get in the ring.
Like, I'm gonna look more like the bag instead of the guy hitting it. So I feel like there's that little bit of fear, and so when they walk into an environment where they're like, oh, there's this other person who wants to lose weight too, and she's hitting the bag and she seems okay. Like I think I'm gonna be fine. So the experience is different because like now we know like how to use it. You get me? We know that
Okay.
like for example, not all of our clients are gonna want to be like experts in boxing. We understand that not all of our clients are gonna want to fight for a world championship. But a lot of them see that and they're like, you know what? That gets my blood pumping. Once I'm done, I don't want to go home and hit my husband anymore. So this is gonna work for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's like I feel like the experience is different, like I said, because we know how to use it. And also like now that we have our own gym, it's a lot more fun when we come across guys like you guys who want to compete or do jiu-jitsu already but want to get stronger, because now we get to like look at it more like a playground. You know what I mean? That's things that we're already into.
Yeah.
So when we get to play around with that a little bit, it almost seems like okay, that's the difference between work and playtime.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of where we get to pull out all the tools, Like you said, that's where we get to have fun. You know, like, I mean, what you do, like, when we work is a completely different than when I have somebody else, like that's, like, trying to lose weight, just trying to get healthy or something like that. Dude, you get me? I'm not going to make somebody trying to lose weight go, like, jump, like, 10 times when they have, like, bad knees or something like that, you know? But when trying to compete, like, all right, cool, let's go. That's fun for us, too, you know?
Yeah, well, you guys are doing something really good because your guys' staff, like, I train with Felix.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're gonna do burpees, and I'm like, oh, you piece of shit.
Oh, bro, he had cussed out so much, bro.
And then he's like, no, but he's like, I know you're gonna fucking hate it, but you're gonna fucking do it. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah,
But
bro.
you guys, because it's like what you said. It's important that when somebody walks into your facility, they feel comfortable and not intimidated. And that's one of the things that I told Mike that really attracted me to Artemis Academy. Is like I walked in and I didn't feel like I got fucking destroyed, but I didn't feel like the whole team was like, oh, here's a fucking new guy, fucking.
Let's get him.
Yeah.
It was just
because it's gyms like that.
just like and it was just one of those things like, all right, I got tapped, and then they're like, oh yeah, well this is why it happened, and and then it was just like, all right, cool, like this is something that I can do and I could get into and not be afraid that I'm gonna get hurt or that they're gonna hurt me.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that you see like in gyms all across the board, not necessarily just like MMA gyms, but like also like lifting gyms. You get me? Like you walk into like a hardcore bodybuilding gym and people are gonna size you down. You know, they're gonna stand right there and lift it next to you. The bigger guy's gonna pull out the bigger weights, and you know they're gonna try to size you down. And that's where people find it intimidating. You know, like with like somebody who's just trying to lose weight walks into a gym like that, and they're like, "Damn, I don't want to hit the weight room." You know?
Right.
I'm just gonna do cardio all day. You know?
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Like, believe it or not, that's the crazy thing about big box gyms. I feel like they're built to intimidate, and here's why. Like, because the thing is, big box gyms like LA Fitness, Bally's, and stuff like that, they make more money off of the people who are not coming versus the people who are coming. Mm-hmm. You get me? Because somebody buys like a $10, $20, $30 membership, and they're like, they get charged, and they're like, oh shit, I forgot I had that. You know, I gotta go cancel it. Right? And you go cancel it, and the person goes like, well, why don't you stick around for another month? You already paid for it. And like, okay, you know? But then they don't go, you know? And it's funny because I could see that because at the gym I used to work at, it's crazy because we had like our desks right here, right? Let's say this is like our desk, and we had phones right here, and we could make calls to the new people and get our leads. And then right in front of us, right, like there's this big ass like window, and you could see us and we could see them, right? And right in front of us was all the cardio machines, right? So like there's these people like sweating, busting their ass off, and we're like right in front of them, you know, like making songs. So it feels so weird because every once in a while you just know that you can make that little bit of eye contact, and you're just like, oh shit, like
to be awkward.
Yeah, it's gonna be awkward because I know this person is in their zone right now. They're probably sweating, you know, like chanting the Rocky song in their head or something, and I'm right here making a phone call, you know, and they can see it all, you know. So I feel like that's one reason why like we vibe so well with Mike, like because like one thing that he mentions a lot that I feel like we have like very similar ideas for like the way we run the business is like he said like ultimately he wants to create a healing center, right? Like yes, like it's like martial arts, yes it's jiu-jitsu, yes you're gonna learn how to kick ass, right? But at the end of the day, like I feel like something that we both understand is that at the end of the day, people come to work out, to do jiu-jitsu, to lose weight. Number one, to be better, right? But number two, to overcome something, really. You know what I mean? Like how many times do you think you get people who came to you because like they're like, oh, you know, I got my ass kicked last week, like in school and shit, and so like I kind of want to learn how to defend myself.
Yeah.
How many people do you think you get who are kids and like, I want my kid to gain a little bit more confidence? You know what I mean? And so they reach out to you, you know, and I think it's really important to have someone with that idea to guide them through that, because sometimes like you know, like I'm sure there's coaches who see this kid who needs to be a little bit more confident, but also sees like, oh, this kid, like he's probably gonna be big in the future, so let me make sure he knows the technique, and they make it all about like the winning and the techniques and not so much about the like the wisdom, you know,
building, you know, building the person. Yeah, that's the same reason I guess we click so well, you know, just because we have you know similar, same mindset.
Yeah.
As far as being, pretty much being a coach and also guiding people to be able to better themselves.
Yeah.
For sure. One thing that I remember, one of our clients actually started taking her daughters to Artemis, and one thing that I remember, she put a post up one day, and it just really like blew my mind, and that's when like I really was like, damn, this who like he's about that really, you know. And she said that she asked her daughter when she got home, what did she learn, right?
Yeah.
And she said that she thought that she was gonna say, "Oh, I learned like how to twist somebody's arm and turn it into a pretzel," you know. But instead, she said, "We talked about patience today," and I was like, "What? Like that's crazy! Like the fact that this 6-year-old girl goes home and tells her mom like, "Oh yeah, I learned how to be patient today." She's like, "Good, because you keep asking for these snacks and shit, and I'm trying to," you know. So to me, that's that. To me, like for example, just like in fitness. Yes, people lose like 30 pounds, 40 pounds, and they look different in their clothes, and they're buying different clothes, and even like the way they walk and the way they talk looks a little different. But ultimately, that's the transformation that I like to see the most. You know, like for example, last time we had a client who walked in, and you could just tell that she had a bad day, not because she was being rude or anything, but because like she's usually very very friendly and very like hi, and this day she walks in and she kind of just slid this to the corner of the room, and you could just tell,
Right.
And so, we did the boxing and stuff like that, and she was actually really good. Like she was an amateur boxer like back in her day. So, and that's when I found out, because in my head I was like, she looks like she could hit something right now, And so she did that, and then on her way out, like her whole demeanor changed. She's like, hey, like, all right, guys, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I remember even telling these guys, I was like, look, like that's the shit I like to see. Like I like to
Right.
see people walk in here, like even if they're already like happy walking in,
Right.
For them to walk out just being like, damn, you know what? Like I feel good about what I just did right now.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's really great. For me, I feel the same way about music. Music to me is everything. There's not one day that I cannot not listen to music, because if I don't listen to music, I'm like, the fuck did I do with my day? I have to listen to music, otherwise it fucks with me. And that's kind of how I feel with the Artemis Academy. Is like I can go there and I could just, everything just is that in that moment. It just that's the whole universe. Like there's whatever's going COVID, whatever family problem with is going on. It's gone, and then when you leave, whatever it is, because music for me has been everything, and it's saved me a lot of hardships. One of the things that I always say is like, no matter how shitty your day is going, or no matter what's going on, the music's always there, and that's kind of like what I go with Artemis Academy. No matter how shitty your day is going, or no matter what else is going on, the Artemis Academy is always there. And because it's really like when I go there, like I don't have any aspirations really to compete, and I'm not the toughest or the most athletic person out there, but I get to hang out with my friends.
Yeah,
and that's what I want.
And that itself is like you said, that itself is healing, And what he just described right now about that lady like walking in, that is us watching the healing process happen, live in front of us. And that is honestly like the beautiful part about what we do. Because when I first started, like I didn't like being a trainer. To me was like, all right, get a workout, it's fun, it's cool, and that's
right.
it. I get an easy paycheck. But like once you start talking to people, once you start hearing their stories, and because they open up to you, you almost become like it's a barbershop. Like people talk about everything, and like you start to see like, damn, these people they're going through something. And like over time you start to see like what he said, after the workout, like there's a different demeanor in that person.
Right.
And that's when I started to realize, okay, there's a huge impact going on here. And that's when I started falling in love with like fitness. Because I saw the potential change that I could have on people, how it can heal people. Like I've always believed that movement itself is a healing.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. Just every individual, every member, every student that comes in through the doors at our Artemis Academy is, everybody's in their own world. They have their own issues. They have their own, pretty much everything, life.
Yeah.
But, if we can help to be able to, just pull them through the day, especially through the end of the day. We don't know what they've gone through throughout their day, whether their job, their family, their, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But, it's just a place where you can come, just shoot everything out of your mind and just be able to heal, heal yourself and clear your mind. It's just pretty much like a reset
Yeah,
to
exactly.
life.
For sure.
That's dope.
I mean, I don't think I've publicly talked about this, but like the impact that Mike has had in my life has been so significant because I come from a family where there has been a lot of domestic violence, and in fact, my father right now, he's in prison because of it. And if it wasn't for Mike and the Artemis Academy, I honestly don't know where I would be right now.
Oh, I bet, man. Because like one thing I love about the Artist Academy is that it has a sense of community, of family.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that we're about. It's like not just about coming in, training, and being the best. It's about going in, like communicating with people, and all of us as a collective together, like getting through whatever adversity is at the moment.
Right.
And it's the same thing with us too. Like when we push our clients and we get them to work out, like we're there with them.
Yeah.
We're pushing them through that adversity, and at the end of the day, that empowers them. Because
Yeah.
it's like for me, like when I have everything broken down and I'm able to do it, like rolling or in jiu-jitsu, I feel like, damn, I did it. I feel good. All right, now I'm more motivated to come back the next day. And it's the same vibe that we get from our clients, like, oh, this person just squatted this much. This person just jumped for the first time in their lives.
Yeah.
And that, like, it's very empowering to them, but at the same time, it's very empowering for us, because it gives me confidence in being coached, not because of my skill set, but because it's something I genuinely love seeing this person like get that reaction.
Yeah, and I've experienced that as well. Just because
Yeah.
I've gone out there with both of you, and I just like the environment.
Yeah.
Just walking in the door and feeling welcome. And I've told you guys before, like I'm not a big fan of lifting, but now like I've began to enjoy it and like it,
Yeah.
And it's been, you guys opened the doors for me, and I'm enjoying the ride.
That's
just
good, man. I'm glad.
to just to bettering myself and on that side.
Looking more ripped too.
Oh, bro, I know you got some abs on you now. You got some pecs, bro.
I painted those on me.
We airbrushing for the pictures.
Okay, so
It's a shirt.
So you guys, now that like you guys are probably the first, besides Mike, you guys are the first fighters that we've had on the show. If you guys could maybe dive into a little bit into what that experience is like, getting into that ring, getting into that cage. Like what are your guys' feelings in those moments?
Look, personally, for me, bro, I always grew up hating fighting. Even to this day, like I get scared at the idea of fighting somebody in the street, which is one of the reasons that pushed me to do it a little more, because like I used to get bullied a lot, like growing up, especially in middle school and elementary, like I was bullied a lot, like, and I'm not talking about like people talking crap, talking shit, spitting on me. It was more like I remember getting chased half the time I was in school down the block, and just like people would jump me, and it was bad.
Yeah.
And so like my confidence was like really low. And then I remember the first time I walked into a kickboxing gym, and I saw some dude whooping the back, kicking the back. I was like, damn, I want to be like that guy. I want to be able to kick like that, And I remember thinking, if I can kick like that, like all my fears are gonna be gone. But it's crazy because even like being my first experience being inside the ring, I felt that same fear that I had like when like somebody's gonna tell me like, oh, we're gonna get you, we're gonna jump you. I'm like, damn, like okay, so it's not just about learning how to fight, but it's about learning to control the emotions behind it.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my biggest takeaway.
Oh, okay.
This feeling is never gonna go away.
Yeah.
So I gotta learn how to control it.
Yeah, and it's funny because like although like he was like, let's say he had low confidence or whatever, the truth is like the man sometimes like when I was in 6th grade, he was in 8th grade, right? So I like having a big brother going into middle school is a huge advantage because like you're the little one and they're 7th graders and 8th graders, So like I think he kind of like toughened me up a little bit. So like whenever I was gonna like have those situations, I would always like end up fighting these fools,
Did he learn how to kick on you?
A little bit, bro. That's exactly what I'm talking about, you know. But aside from that, like I remember, like for example, like there was times where like I was gonna get down with this food after school, and I would tell my brother, and I'm like, go with me, food, because like I don't want this to jump me, you know. And so we would go, and then like I would fight the guy who I called out, and then he would fight his friend, you know. And that happened like 2 or 3 times when I was in 6th grade, you know. And then like in 7th grade, so 6th grade, like I was very pudgy, right? So even though I fought a lot, it was more because like I feel I take more on my mom's attitude, where like in sense like where she feels like someone's doing wrong by her, she's gonna like be like, nah, fuck that, like I'm not gonna let myself type of shit, you know. And so like a lot of times, like I mean I didn't want to fight either and shit, but at the same time I felt like if I say I don't, these fools are gonna take that as like, you know, like I'm gonna do that shit more often, you know.
Yeah.
And so I fought this fool like 6 days in a row, bro, like every day. Yeah, because like,
bro,
remember fucking Matthew? Yeah, remember. And it's funny because now we're like I'm not saying we're cool, but he hits me up on IG sometimes and like, hey, what's, like you know, like what's up? And sometimes he even joke.
Hey, what's up? You want a brawl today?
he's still calling me out. But like sometimes he'll be like, oh, I'm glad he didn't have those hands when we were in 6th grade and shit like that, you know. Like, but yeah, like fighting him. Made me want to toughen up, so I started playing football when I was like 11 and going on to 12, and that was like my first like experience of aggression, because like you know you guys are fucking smashing into each other all the time and shit like that. So when I started doing the fighting thing, it seemed similar to like how I felt when I first started playing football, you know, except that I didn't feel like okay, like if I fuck up, I'm gonna let somebody else down. You know, like it was gonna be just more on me. And like, if I get fucked up, I get fucked up, and that's it. You know, but I remember I would get more scared of getting hurt. You know, because I'd be like, fuck, like I'm gonna have to go to work the next day and shit like that. And if it's not even paying me, you know. So like for me, it was a lot of fun, but I do feel like I could have enjoyed it a little bit more if I would have, like, for example, right now, one thing that really helps me out a lot that I know like Mike does a lot too is meditating, right? And I actually started doing it because an MMA fighter mentioned it on a podcast one day. You know, he said that he does the Headspace app to help him focus, right? And so I was like, oh shit, like that's crazy. Like I had a client who was into meditation, but she's a Buddhist, so she made it sound like super religious. And she's like, yeah, like if you don't gain that clarity from meditation, then you're gonna come back like as an animal in your next life. And I'm like, I'm like chicken. All right, you know, I'm like, all right, okay.
A chick first.
So I guess to be honest, I saw it more like they're probably like they see it like as praying, you know.
Okay.
Like our parents, you know, always pray and stuff like that, and so like that's probably their version of praying, you know. So she's trying to change my religion or some shit.
Yeah.
You know? But once I heard this guy talking about it, I was like, oh shit, like that must be like really like revolutionary, you know. Like it must be an actual like mental kind of training, I guess.
Right.
You know? And it's funny because that's exactly how the Headspace app describes it. You know, it talks about it as mental training, and I feel like if I would have had that when I was doing MMA, I would have been like more focused. Even not just during the fight, but like for example, I was like 22, 23. You know? And around that age, you know, I was caught between like. Doing the MMA thing, and then caught between like going out on the weekends and getting drunk.
Well, now it can help you in many ways. You know? Not only for fighting, you know, it's just you know, in your daily life.
It does. It does. For sure. It really does, dude.
You know, meditating. We also do those breath of fires. Yeah. You know, working our breath and everything. So I'm glad it's been helping you guys.
And the breathing too. Like I do it more to like you know what? It almost feels like a shot of coffee, you know? Like I was doing it on the way over here, you know, because like when I breathe deep, right, and I hold it and let it out, and I do that like pretty fast, I almost feels like I'm getting high, you know? Like my mind opens up. Like, you know, like you know, like
joint, hold on.
I'm dry. The car is hotbox, but you know. But I do feel like I feel like more awake all of a sudden, you know, like when I do the breath of fire and those breathing techniques. So yeah, to answer your question, it was crazy, you know? It was like all kinds of emotions. But at the same time, I feel like it's different when you know that you're gonna do it for your whole life and it's like a professional career because like it wasn't like that for me, you know. So at the end of the day, it was like more like I was chasing a dream versus I can imagine like professional fighters who are literally like either gonna get paid more or not based on whether they win or lose, you know. So I can't describe how that would feel like, but it seems insane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I mean I get to see it on a pretty weekly basis, and I consider myself really privileged to be able to document like a lot of these fighters'
Not bad.
journey. So and then it's weird too as a filmmaker being there and then seeing your friend get fucking kicked in the head and just boom. It's just like God
He's like,
damn.
hold the camera, Eric. Hold the camera.
Just delete that.
But I think you guys doing that definitely adds value to what you guys do now as
Oh, for
personal
sure. That experience.
Yeah.
That experience was big. Like I said, it's crazy because like what I really liked about doing MMA was like the way the events were set up. To be honest with you, you get me? Because like they made us feel like we were fucking professionals. You know, like they had an announcer guy there and shit. You know, they will ask you stuff about your background before you went on. You know, and so like you feel like you're at an event. You know, and so like. It almost felt like for example, when I played football and then we're going out to the field and all the lights are on and it feels like there's a show going on. You know?
Right.
Yeah, damn, it's crazy. The way they do MMA events and boxing events is so different.
Yeah.
It's so different because MMA events, like you said, it feels like a legit card. Like they call you up in advance to tell you, you're gonna fight this guy. He might pull out a couple times or something. They might give you different opponents, but at least in advance, you have an idea of who you're gonna fight. You know?
Yeah.
Like in boxing, like you just show up, they weigh you, and they be like, all right, you guys weigh the same? Cool. I'm gonna put you guys in the same card. You guys weigh the same? Cool. I'm gonna put you guys in the same card. Yeah, like the first, I remember in boxing, I didn't know who was gonna box until the guy stepped in the ring.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
made
like-
the chickens fight first.
Yeah. The chickens came up first, and then we went.
It was a rooster fight.
Yeah.
That was a co-main.
They're all like,
And then it had us. That's what it felt like though, because then you have guys like it's like there's a table and there's a board in the back, and that board has like all the weights, and then they put you in the weight slot, and then you have guys like, oh, put me with that guy, put me with that guy. It looks like they're betting for people. Yeah, bro, it's crazy. It's
next
wild.
thing you know, it's your neighbors.
I'm like, hey, you said what's
He's
up?
like, I thought I was coming to Home Depot.
Well, anyways, if you guys haven't noticed, we have a live audience. So live audience.
Yeah.
That being said, we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna take it away to the sideshow with a skit.
Sideshow, do you have any cookies?
Yeah, man, I think we have some extra in the kitchen. Go check it out.
Okay, let's go to kitchen. This the cookie? My flavor tastes like shit. Oh, there's some more cookies. Protein cookie? Don't look too interesting. Space cookie?
You alright, Cookie Monster? Cookie Monster.
Sideshow, I just realized something.
Yeah, what's your question?
Is your hand up my ass?
Hell nah, Cookie Monster, that's gay as fuck.
Okay, that's good.
The hell did he eat? Oh, shit.
Come on, Yoshi, get it up.
Welcome back. Good job, Sideshow.
Thank you, Sideshow, for another amazing, funny fucking clip.
I thought that was Dave Chappelle.
Close. If you guys want to check out more of his shit, please make sure you guys will put his links in the description below. Follow him on Instagram. He posts all his funny shit on there. So be sure to check him out there. And then follow us and on the social media as well, on Instagram at the Hippie and the Mutt. And then where can they find you guys?
Instagram, Sanctify FitPros.
All right, cool. So let's get back into it. You said that you had a couple of questions
yeah,
for me, dude.
yeah. Actually, I have a couple, right?
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of things that intrigue me about you guys, like just as you know, just personally, right? Like for example, I was telling Eric that like it tripped me out that he wasn't born here, you know?
Yeah.
Like he was talking about that on you guys' first episode, and it tripped me out that you know, like you had mentioned before in the past that about the whole thing with your dad, you know. and it just trips me out seeing somebody so young like be so directed, you know, and it,
No, I appreciate
you know,
that.
like it seems like the camera thing is your thing,
Yeah.
you know, and I kind of just wanted to know more like about what made you want to do actually like videos and all that stuff.
Jurassic Park.
Really?
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
Really? What? No way.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. Well, initially when the first time I watched that movie, I thought I wanted to be a paleontologist because that's what the people are that study the dinosaurs and shit. But and then I found out more about Steven Spielberg, and I watched Jaws, and that blew my mind. And I watched Saving Private Ryan, and that blew my mind even more. And I was like, well, I want to do that. And
So you want to be a director?
yes.
So you know, all right. So I'm glad you went to that because like I was watching like I forgot who somebody was talking about directing, right? And they said like I've always wondered like you know when they put movies out they'll say directed by, produced by. So
Yeah.
I've always wondered like what's everybody's job, you know? And so ultimately what the guy said was that the director's job is to tell a story through the screen.
Yes.
You get me? So with that said, like if you could do like a movie by yourself, right?
Damn. It'd be hilarious, huh?
If you could do a movie by yourself, like what would it be like?
That'll be triple X right there.
Damn. Sick action movies, bro.
He's like, well, first of all, I'm gonna get Johnny Depp to play me. But would it be like a comedy? Would it be like a horror story? Would it be like a drama? Like what would it be?
Well, for me, I guess it'd be more of a horror, because you know, again, the whole Steven Spielberg thing. I really got into his stuff, and you know, Jurassic Park and Jaws aren't necessarily horror films, but they kind of dabble within that realm. Like they have tropes of like horror movies and whatnot. I was fortunate enough to have a grandpa that had a whole stupid collection of movies
Oh, okay.
and this whole stupid collection of jazz records.
Okay.
So there was either one thing at night, like my parents were out at work and I was with my grandparents. It was either one thing, either I was listening to jazz records or metal records, or I was watching a movie with my grandpa.
Okay.
And one of those movies that we would watch were horror movies, and some of them were The Thing, John Carpenter, or Predator, or Alien. And you know obviously, you know, I'm a dumbass little kid at that time, and I was scared, but I was so intrigued. Like how did they, you know, how did they do this? How did they make it? And yeah, for me, I think it'd be a horror film.
Okay.
Probably pretty gory too.
You're like putting on your socks and the foot falls off.
So we're eliminating the triple X.
So don't call Vin Diesel.
But yeah, I mean, I like horror movies. You know, especially like the classic stuff. Like I don't know if you guys ever seen Reanimator. Like
Nah, I haven't.
1983. Fucking amazing movie.
Okay.
It's funny. It's funny because that movie is like a dark comedy, but it's also a horror film.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, horror.
Is that something that you still like aspire to be, like to do movies like that?
Yes. Well, actually, right now I'm writing a script for a short horror film.
Damn,
Well, that's
dope,
tight.
dude. That's dope.
You guys want to know a fun fact about Ruben and horror films? I used to love horror films. I love horror films, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I was a kid, I would put them on and watch them, you know? And I'll tell Ruben, like, hey, come on, watch it. He was like, nah, I'm watching it. And he's like, he's all the way at the corner, barely seeing the TV. He's like, nah, I can see it from here.
You don't understand? That shit was gonna come out of my dreams and shit. You know? It was,
La Llorona?
yeah, shit.
But it's funny 'cause it's like-
Chucky, all of them, bro.
It's funny because imagine the TV's like right here, right in front. I'm watching it. I was like, hey, come watch it. And he's like, oh, way over there. He's like, oh, no, I can see it.
yeah, like with scary movies, I was a little B word, you know?
No,
Like,
but
just sit
the
there.
honest truth, the horror movies kind of just flip, dude. Like, you know,
That's all
they're
jump
not-
scares now, huh?
Nah,
Yeah, it's all
have you guys
jokes,
seen?
yeah.
Have you guys seen Hereditary?
I've heard of it.
That movie fucked me up.
But I hate more. I watch horror movies over there again.
Yeah, I don't watch that one again. You know, it was crazy. It's crazy. It's a scary ass movie, but I do notice that like I enjoyed it a little bit more now, you know, like just seeing how different they because you know like he's right, a lot of movies now are like scary,
Jump scares,
like
yeah.
jump scares. We saw like Rona this weekend, 2 weeks ago, and I expected it to be like, you know,
Good.
like you know, at least like something, you know, like. But now it was just you know like any of the other scary movies where they try to make you jump, you know. But Hereditary is just like like they do a great job at like scaring you without jump scares. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, at the end of the day, when you're making a movie, you want to tell a story, and you want the story to be the thing that impacts you, not the jump scare.
Right.
And then the problem with a lot of new movies, whether it's horror movies or action movies, it's that they follow a formula. So
It's like
that's why when you watch a movie, let's say you watch fucking Fast and the Furious, and The Rock is in that movie, right?
Yeah.
You watch some other bullshit movie he came out in. It seems like it was shot the same way, and
Yeah,
it feels
I
like
see what you mean,
the
yeah.
same way. So a lot of films follow a pretty narrow formula, because that's what at the end of the day that's what sells.
Yeah, like Jumanji's just Fast and Furious in the jungle.
With Kevin Hart in it.
Yeah.
Because that's what sells.
Yeah, and you know what? I did hear about like because I mean I love movies. No, one thing that I kind of like I want to do is I want to do like reviews for movies at some point because like I'm a huge movie person. You know, like I love stories more than anything. You know, and so like when I see a movie that I really like it stays in my head for a cool minute, and like I try to dissect it, and it just you know I even started looking up like fun facts about it, like even like kids movies. Like I don't know if you guys seen Soul lately. I was talking to you about it.
Yeah.
Such a great movie, you know. And here's something, a fun fact. Here's a fun fact about it. The Jerry's, right? Spoiler alert, okay? Because I don't know if anybody hasn't seen it, but there's these things called Jerry's, right? And they're pretty much like the guys who are in charge of getting the souls to Earth, right? And those things were a tribute to Steve Jobs. Yeah, because like if you notice, doesn't their face remind you of the Macintosh logo, right? And
The
that was
old
his thing. And it's
Macintosh.
funny because the truth is like Steve Jobs was somebody who was known to be a very angry person, you know. And two things that tripped me out about him was one that he did like LSD and psychedelics, you know, because
Right.
like people are known to become like nicer because of that, where it seemed to have just made him more like almost egotistical in a sense, because like it was after he did all those things that he created Apple and became a CEO. But ultimately, I feel like that's the movie that he needed to watch, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy to think that they made it because they made that tribute to him, you know. I really think that like what he said on his deathbed inspired that movie, you know. And he said something along the lines of there's you could buy fancy things and you can have a lot of money, but you can't rent a body to have the disease for you, right? Because he was already sick.
Yeah.
And then he said, and if there's one thing that you can't find once it's lost, is life, you know? And I love how that movie, they portrayed like the lost souls and how,
Shout out to that car.
Yeah, you ruined my moment, dude.
No, but yeah, I don't know. Movies and music have just been my life.
So dope.
I can't. I mean, I don't even really watch TV. I'm always behind on TV shows. So like the whole craze about WandaVision that came out within like I'll probably watch it like months later because
Yeah, dude, trust, I'm the same way. I'm
Oh,
like,
I watched it all already, bro.
I remember watching the same episode because I fall asleep halfway through it. You know, I get home late, I start turning it on and just knock out. You know.
And that's kind of what sucked about this whole COVID thing is like the experience of going to a movie theater was taken away.
Just we're talking about renting a movie theater just to go watch Godzilla versus King Kong. Because,
Yeah.
You know, because that's gonna be a bad movie, dude. Yep, you know.
That's the one thing I miss the most, bro.
Yeah,
Two things
yeah.
actually is Korean barbecue and movies, bro. That's the one thing I miss. Two things I miss the most, bro.
If they could put both spots in one place, they
That's it, bro. That's my perfect entertainment center.
But yeah, so
Actually, I also had a question for Mike. Right?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
You know, like I know, like one thing that you talk about a lot is healing, right? So I wanted to ask you, in what ways do you feel like jiu-jitsu has been healing for you?
Oh, jiu-jitsu's healed me in many ways, you know. It's just made me grow out of my old self, you know, and it still does. It makes me revisit things that, you know, just my past, and it just makes me adjust, you know, not only physically, mentally, but also spiritually. And, you know, it's something that just has helped me throughout my life, and it's just day after day. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna go do jujitsu or I'm gonna go train, and I'm just gonna get better at jujitsu. No, I try to get better at everything across, and I try to balance myself as best as I can. You know, mentally and spiritually is one of my major priorities, to be balanced. You know, and as much as everyone else needs help in their own individual life, I need it as well. You know, I'm just another
Hippie.
another normal, you know, human. Well, I'm just another human in this world, and you know, I'm just trying to better myself as an individual, and that's something that I, you know, pretty much give to the members and to our people, to have them work on themselves. Because like I've said it before in the other episodes, you know, people want to get better, but they don't want to put the work in.
Yeah.
And if you don't put the work in, then how do you expect to be better?
Yeah, you know, one thing that I do admire about you is that you're not afraid to admit that you need help sometimes in certain things, you know, and I think that's what really opens opportunities. Like right now, you know, like right now you just said like you're just human, and you know, like for example, like you could have stayed in that mindset where like, nah, fuck that, I'm not gonna lift weights, you know, like that's not for me. But instead, you actually went out and you looked, you know. A lot of times, I think sometimes when for example, like I think we were just talking about before we started all this with the guys about how like the old school jiu-jitsu, there was like a lot of guys who like had kind of that machismo, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like they kind of wanted, felt like they had something to prove because there's their school and they're going against other schools, you know. So I can imagine somebody like them being like, yeah, I need somebody to help me out. You get me? And
Right.
could do this better, you know. And I feel like a lot of times that's where people do find opportunities is in reaching out for help, you know.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I feel like us as coaches, that's like a great example to give to our members, is to let them know that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, like that's the only way you get it. You know, is if you reach out.
Yeah, just you know, that's why you know, when we train and at the end of the sessions, I just ask everyone, you know, if you guys have any questions, whether it's now, later, you know, if you guys just randomly driving or you know whatever it is, you guys can message us, DM us, you know, ask us when you see us in person, but just ask, because that's how you're gonna get help and that's how you're gonna get better.
Yeah.
You know, as much as we're coaches, you know, I have my own coaches as well. You know, whether it's, you know, my jiu-jitsu coach or, you know, my fitness coach. You know, you guys help me out a lot as far as lifting weights and, you know, getting better on that level. But yeah, we just have to be open, and that's something that I've worked throughout my life, to be open and be able to learn from everyone that I surround myself.
Yeah,
From, you
because
know?
I'll be honest with you, I feel like it's one of like my biggest struggles too is knowing when to ask for help. You know, because I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes like you know, we feel like all the tasks in our day like have to be done by us and only us, you know. And so
Right.
sometimes we're kind of scared to be like, hey, you know, help me out with this a little bit, or help me out with that, or how do you
Yeah.
do this, or you know, how do you do that.
And that's something that, you know, like you said right now, that's something that you need to work on. You know, it's good that you identified that, and you know, now you can go ahead and take the next step to, you know, work to getting help when you need help. You know, because if you don't speak up and you're just jammed up with everything that you have, then you know, you're gonna probably have a bad day. You're gonna be in a
Get
bad mood.
overwhelmed
You know,
and
get
stuff.
overwhelmed and everything. So it's important to speak out, and it's important to have boundaries. You know, it's important to, you know, to feel good, to feel
Yeah.
better. You know, and like I tell everyone that goes to Artemis Academy, and I've told Eric many times, you know, do your best You know, we can do our best, but
Yep.
you know, whatever we did yesterday, whatever we did last week, today we can do it even better. You know, and that's the type of mentality we should all have. Like I help as many people as I can, and then other people help me as well. You know, but
It's a cycle.
it's just a cycle, and
It's a cycle
it's
of
very
growth.
important who you surround yourself with, because you know, if you surround yourself around drunks and, you know, low life and stuff like that, then guess what? Then that's you know that's what you're gonna pretty much not really end up in, but you're gonna end up within that circle.
Yeah.
How does the
You're-
saying go?
you know,
The saying-
You're so right. You know, you're so right. Like I feel like that's the main difference between me going into my 30s and me going into my 20s. You know, like the people I surround myself with.
Yeah. And so how does that saying go? You surround yourself with 5 successful people, you become the 6th.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, I think for me personally, like asking for help has led me to finding somebody like Mike. Mike is one of 3 mentors that I have. The other 2 being Chad George, and then who's obviously the owner of CMMA, and then the other being Ben Zuckerman, who's a history and economics professor.
Oh, nice.
So I've been able to, with Mike, I've been able to advance as a person, as a human being, and as you just as an overall person. And with Chad, I've been able to advance myself as a filmmaker and as a business person, treating that as a business. And with Ben, I've been able to advance myself as a student and a scholar. So
Yeah, man, that's the beauty of being open-minded and meeting new people.
Yep.
Like, you take something from that person, you know? Like, whenever, like
I mean, there's never not a day that I don't text Mike about something.
Yeah.
Or I ask him about something. Like, hey, I have an idea
I took
about
a
this.
shit today.
No, I got to the next level. 'Cause I got to the next level.
But yeah, it's just you know, I think it's super important to have people like that in your life.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure,
of course.
For sure. I've had a couple mentors in my life, and it's not always been like the way I've thought that they're gonna come. You know, like there's been bosses who have been mentors. You know, but I feel like ultimately it's like just paying attention. You know, to when you do come across those people, because you know a lot of times people will give you the answers you're looking for. You know, you gotta keep those ears open for when they come.
All right, so I sense our audience getting a little rowdy. So Magda, if you want to do asking if you guys want to ask us questions.
Random question,
I got a
guys.
question for Ruben.
Yes, sir.
If Buddha punishes you for not meditating properly, what animal will you come back as?
Oh man, see, if it's a punishment,
Yeah, punishment.
I think I would be a human praying mantis.
Whoa.
I mean, a man praying mantis, a male praying mantis, because
Oh yeah, because the female.
because the female,
Then you got your head metal head off.
because the female usually chops his head off once she's done.
Be careful.
Next question.
Are you guys technically seriously brothers since you got Sanctify brothers?
Yeah, we're brothers.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we came out of the same mom.
You guys didn't say it.
Huh?
You guys didn't say it in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, we're brothers. We came
Yeah,
out. Yep.
we're sanctified. That's why he introduced us as a Sanctify FitPros.
Yeah, but you can always be bros and being like,
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
bros or something.
Yeah. Now, You
Yeah.
know what's funny? We actually originally that was gonna be the name of the gym, right? Sanctify Fit Bros, but we changed it last minute because we're like, nah. What if like people get the wrong idea that they're like, oh, it's a bros gym, you know?
Yeah, like, oh, only bros go there.
And so we don't want to
Bro science?
you know, give that vibe off that we're like we only take it to people who want to
frat
get
parties
big and
and
stuff,
shit.
you know?
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Next question.
Anyone?
I got one for Eric.
All right, what's up?
Favorite horror film of all time, and why?
I'm gonna say The Thing, by John Carpenter. Just the effects, the practical effects. It's so beautifully done.
Yeah.
It's
Did you ever watch The Cocoon?
Oh, the cocoon. Yeah.
I did, yes.
Yeah. Was it a good movie though?
It was, yeah.
And you're down to do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
What happens? What do they do? What?
In the gym.
What do they do?
Do it.
I mean, do it.
What about Army of Darkness? How do you feel about that?
That one was okay.
Oh man, I love that one.
You know what? You know which was really disturbing for me too was the newest Evil Dead that they did, the remake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad,
Yeah.
dude.
That one was pretty good. Any other questions? Questions?
Who introduced you to jujitsu?
Do you want us, like all of us, to answer, or or are you asking me? All of me? All right. All right. Well, I'll go first. I guess just from seeing it on TV, like UFC fights. But I went to several other gyms initially, but they weren't the best fit for me, so I stopped just going. And then I had my other podcast, and Mike happened to be one of the guests on that, and then I'm here ever since.
And now I do jiu-jitsu.
Well,
Well, for me, it was a buddy of mine in high school. It's the same guy who pretty much introduced me to UFC, and it's the guy that we were talking about that we used to wrestle in his backyard and stuff, you know. But like, I didn't know it as like you know, gi and belts and like collar chokes. I knew it as like, oh, these guys wrestle and punch each other. You know?
Well, for me, I remember when I was in high school, I used to be an explorer, and we used to do like wrestling there, like grappling, and but it was just like whatever, you get me? It was just people just revolcándose in the ground, just rolling all over the ground. You know, like there was no technique to anything.
And it was in the grass.
And there was nobody taught me how to do an arm bar, nobody taught me how to pan. It was just like, all right, get that guy. That was it. You know? And then until I had one of my friends, he taught me a Kimura. And when he taught me the Kimura, I thought he knew it all, bro. I was like, I'm gonna catch everybody. Yeah.
I'm gonna get everyone.
Yeah. And then when I started training against actual jiu-jitsu guys, I was like, what the fuck is this? What's all this? There's legs everywhere, there's arms everywhere. You know?
He's like, come on.
Why isn't it working?
He thought it was like a magic spell.
Yeah, well, I started when I was a kid out in Torrance with the Gracie family, and I was there for a while, and then I stopped, and then I continued again.
You have like the coolest story of all, bro. The coolest just the story is like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna retract mine.
No, but I actually first seen the first UFC when Hoist fought, and I was just like, God damn, that little guy's beating everybody.
Right. Any other questions?
Without incriminating yourselves too much,
Dang.
what is the funniest way that you've ever broken the law for everybody?
Funniest? Oh, I don't know if it's funny.
Me and my friends tipped the fucking car.
God
We tipped the
damn.
fucking car.
He didn't even think
How
about
was
it.
that?
Well, so one time we're drunk out of our minds, of course, and we went to 7-Eleven to get more beer, and then there was like this car just like literally just like parked on top of the sidewalk. So one of my friends was like, "Fuck this car," and he starts lifting it. So we're like, "All right, we'll fucking join," and then we fucking lifted it and he took the fucking car, and then we just fucking booked it.
Damn. That's crazy. Well, I mean, is it breaking the law if you didn't get caught?
No, we just fucking
That's
left.
what I'm saying. Is it breaking the law if you didn't get caught?
No.
No, we just broke the car.
Because the bear shits in the woods and no one gives a fuck.
I mean, I ain't got stories like that. Honestly, like the only thing that comes to mind, it was not funny. I got DUI when I was like 24. You know.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know, I
I want
crashed.
to cry for you.
You know, yeah, it was bad. You know,
That's a lot of money.
they made it out to be more serious than what I initially thought. You know, because I ended up hitting a car and it was a mess. You know, but I mean, I learned a lot from it. Don't get me wrong. You know, like I don't even like party like that no more because of that. You
Hell
know.
no.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that wasn't funny.
It's funny now.
I mean, yeah.
Alright, what about you?
Me,
Out of all of them, pick one. No, I'm just
All right, I gotta think. I was never like I was never getting into trouble or anything like that, but I think
You just look too cute.
I just know how to play the part, bro. Nah,
Just start describing Ocean's 11.
sick ass bank robbery. I was a getaway driver. No.
Get mine in the tanga.
Nah, I think once I was working in LA Fitness and I had a friend who told me hold the bag for me, and it was steroids. And I put it in my bag, and I was like, all right, fuck it. And then I got caught speeding right on my way to work. And I go inside, and I'm trying to book it. I see this fool behind me, so I just go inside real quick, and I'm trying to get out the door.
By
and as
fool
soon
you
as I
mean
get out
car,
the door,
right?
huh?
By fool you mean cop, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
a cop. You know that fool. And I try to beat him to the parking lot because I'm thinking, all right, if I park and I leave, he's not gonna catch me. And as soon as I open the door, this fool has his hand right here. He was like, all right, get in the car, get in the car. I'm like, oh damn, fuck. So I go in and I get in the car. I pull in my bag. No, he asked me for my ID, and I had my ID in my bag. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to open my bag in front of this fool. And I told him, he's like, oh, I don't have my ID on me, bro, this and that. And he goes like, all right, tell me your name. And I give him my name. He looks up my information. And there's this weird thing in my ID, like, because my ID and my social security are different. So one says Guillermo Sanchez, and my ID says Guillermo Sanchez Cardoso. So I was giving him Guillermo Sanchez, and they couldn't find it. Yeah, and he's like, you know what, get out of the car. I'm like, fuck. So he starts searching my shit, and he takes me to jail. Yeah. And the worst part, pretty much, bro. Yeah. And the worst part is this happened like on Friday, bro. So I was there the whole weekend. Yeah. I didn't get released the next day.
You were there with Big Tyrone?
I was trying to stay away from Big Tyrone, bro.
Wash my draw.
You better use that Kimura real good.
He was like, I'm a boy. Came over, he was like, I'm a boy.
I'm a real boy.
Mike, do you want to answer this question, or will you pass?
Man.
You can pass it, bro.
Yeah.
Pass. Any other questions? Questions?
What's your guys' favorite wrestling coach?
That was easy. Oh man, bro.
The one that wears the tanga.
He's like, oh, I got one on right now. like this one.
He likes wrestling that coach with the tanga.
You got that crocodile one?
That being said, this is thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you guys. Yeah, appreciate you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Hippie and the Mutt. We'll see you guys fucking next time.
Yeah, fuck you next time.